Clint Barton, on his secluded farm, is teaching his daughter archery as his wife prepares a picnic lunch. Suddenly, his daughter disappears, and half of all life across the universe disintegrates, a result of Thanos' use of the 6 Infinity Stones. Nebula and Tony Stark are left stranded in space following their defeat by Thanos on Titan, but are eventually brought back to Earth by Carol Danvers. The two are reunited with Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Banner, Steve Rogers, Rocket, Thor, and James Rhodes. Together, the team develops a plan to retrieve the Infinity Stones from Thanos and use them to undo his actions. However, they soon discover that Thanos has destroyed the stones to prevent further misuse. He claims that he did so to prevent any nefarious individuals from using the stones for their gain. Enraged by this revelation, Thor beheads Thanos, stating that it's what he should have done in Wakanda. After 5 years, Scott Lang manages to escape from the quantum realm and is shocked to discover that his daughter Cassie is now a teenager. He also learns that Hope Van Dyne and half of the population have vanished due to the snap. Rogers has taken the responsibility of leading grief counseling sessions for those still struggling with the consequences of the snap. Meanwhile, Romanoff is tirelessly keeping a watchful eye over both Earth and the rest of the universe, aided by Rhodes, Danvers, Okoye, Rocket, and Nebula. Lang seeks out Romanoff and Rogers and informs them that although 5 years have passed for them, only 5 hours have elapsed for him in the quantum realm, where time behaves quite differently. Romanoff, Rogers, and Lang approach Stark, who is now raising a child with pepper pots. They present their idea that the quantum realm can be utilized to travel back in time and acquire the Infinity Stones before Thanos can get his hands on them. Initially hesitant, Stark expresses concerns about jeopardizing his newfound family and peace. However, after grappling with the loss of Peter Parker, he decides to explore the possibility by experimenting with Lang's quantum tunnel. Eventually, Stark discovers a viable theoretical model that could make time travel possible. Now with Stark on board, the remaining Avengers embark on a mission to reunite their team. Bruce Banner has finally accepted the Hulk as a part of himself, merging their consciousness into one. Meanwhile, Romanoff learns of an assassin whose methods resemble Barton's and sets out to track him down. Barton, overcome with grief following the loss of his family, has taken on the persona of Ronin and is on a mission to rid the world of criminal organizations. Natasha eventually finds him in Japan and convinces him to rejoin the team in their quest to bring back his family. Banner and Rocket venture to the quiet town of New Asgard, where the remaining Asgardians, led by Valkyrie, have sought refuge. There they encounter Thor, who is consumed by regret for his inability to defeat Thanos in Wakanda. Thor has let himself go, gaining weight, growing out his hair and beard, and indulging in unhealthy habits such as binge-eating junk food, heavy drinking, and playing Fortnite with his buddies Korg and Meek. Reluctantly, Thor agrees to rejoin the Avengers after Banner and Rocket persuade him to do so. After successfully testing the quantum time machine on Barton, the Avengers reunite with a plan. Banner, Rogers, Lang, and Stark set out to retrieve the time, mind, and space stones during the Battle of New York in 2012. Banner visits the Sanctum Sanctorum, where he learns from the Ancient One that taking the Time Stone from her timeline would disrupt Stephen Strange's future efforts to prevent Caecilius from destroying the laws of nature. However, Banner explains that Strange willingly gave up the Time Stone to Thanos, implying that he intended for a specific sequence of events to play out for Thanos to ultimately be defeated. The Ancient One ultimately allows Banner to take the Time Stone, under the condition that the stones will be returned to their proper timelines to prevent any negative consequences. Meanwhile, Lang and Stark try to steal the Space Stone, but their plan fails when Stark is hit by the Hulk and drops the briefcase containing the Tesseract, which is then stolen by Loki. Rogers manages to steal the Mind Stone from undercover Hydra agents, but runs into his past self, who mistakes him for Loki in disguise. After overcoming the obstacle of past Steve, Rogers reunites with Stark and Lang, who now need to come up with a new plan to obtain the Space Stone without exhausting their limited supply of Pym particles required for quantum time travel. Lang returns to the present with the Mind Stone, while Rogers and Stark come up with a scheme to steal the Space Stone and additional Pym particles from a U.S. Army base in the 1970s. While on the mission, Rogers catches a glimpse of Peggy Carter, and Stark has a heartfelt conversation with his father Howard. Thor and Rocket journey to Asgard to procure the Reality Stone before Malekith can use it to unleash havoc on the Nine Realms. As they search for the stone, Thor is reminded that his mother, Frigga, will soon pass away. While wandering in Asgard, Thor meets Frigga and receives advice from her. Meanwhile, Rocket steals the ether, the liquid form of the Reality Stone, from Jane Foster. As they depart from Asgard, Thor rejoices as he discovers that he is still worthy of his mighty hammer Mjolnir. Rhodes and Nebula travel to Morag to retrieve the Power Stone before Quill can get his hands on it. Rhodes successfully returns to the present with the stone, but Nebula's cybernetic implants malfunction and she remains on Morag. Due to her unique physiology, her past and future selves are linked, and Thanos and Ma are able to access her memories from the future. They discover the Avengers' plan and send the past version of Nebula to the present as a spy, hoping to thwart their efforts. Despite Nebula's attempts to warn the others, they are unaware of the danger posed by the Infiltrator until it is almost too late. Barton and Romanoff journey to Vormir with the intention of retrieving the Soul Stone, but their plan is halted when Red Skull reveals that the stone can only be obtained by sacrificing someone they love. The two argue over who should make the sacrifice, with Romanoff ultimately deciding to sacrifice herself. Barton is heartbroken and returns to Earth with the Soul Stone, while Romanoff's sacrifice solidifies their commitment to stopping Thanos. Stark, Rocket, and Banner collaborate to create a gauntlet that can harness the power of all 6 stones. The gauntlet is constructed from the same nanotechnology as Stark's latest Iron Man suit. Banner decides to put on the gauntlet to undo Thanos' snap and bring back all those who disappeared. Despite the danger of gamma radiation and the excruciating pain caused by using the stones, Banner manages to succeed in his mission. However, they are soon attacked by Thanos, who has been brought to Earth by the past Nebula that was sent back as a spy. In the ensuing battle, the quantum portal is destroyed. The Avengers' headquarters is destroyed by Thanos, scattering the team and leaving the gauntlet in Barton's possession. While Barton protects the gauntlet, the past Nebula is killed by her future self when she tries to steal the Infinity Stones. Meanwhile, Rogers, Thor, and Stark face off against Thanos, who has decided to use the Infinity Stones to create a universe according to his vision. Despite their efforts, each Avenger is defeated by Thanos in one-on-one combat, with Rogers proving himself worthy of wielding Mjolnir, confirming Thor's theory. Following the landing of Thanos' army on Earth, T'Challa appears before Rogers, accompanied by all of the revived Avengers and other allies, to mount an attack against Thanos and his army. The ensuing battle is intense, with Stark reuniting with Parker and Quill with past Gamora. Thanos struggles with several Avengers in his attempt to obtain the Infinity Stones. As Wanda Maximoff holds Thanos with her energy, he orders Glaive to attack with his ship, endangering the Avengers. Captain Marvel returns to help and fights for the control of the gauntlet. Stark uses the nanotech from the new gauntlet to remove the Infinity Stones from Thanos' hand and wears it himself. He uses the stones to defeat Thanos and his army, saying "I am Iron Man" before succumbing to the radiation from the stones. Potts and Parker grieve for Stark's death. After the battle, the Avengers honor Stark with a funeral. His Mark-I arc reactor is set afloat on the lake near his house as a tribute. Barton and Maximoff find comfort in knowing that Romanoff and Vision, who didn't come back after the snap, would be proud of their victory over Thanos. Thor crowns Valkyrie as the new Queen of Asgard and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy to find his purpose, unburdened by leadership and royalty for the first time in his life. Barton returns to his family while Parker goes back to school and reunites with his best friend Ned. As part of his task to return the stones and Thor's hammer to their original timelines, Rogers decides to stay in the past and live the rest of his life with Carter. Later, as an old man, he appears before Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes and passes on his shield and the mantle of Captain America to Wilson. A brief flashback shows Rogers and Carter in an ordinary-looking house, finally sharing the dance they never got to have in their living room, truly happy at last.